Hello aspirants, as you know that civil services examination is one of the toughest examinations. Hence, it is very important that aspirants should have a strategy to clear this examination. I believe that the most important stage in this examination is of course mains. Interview is very subjective, so we have to maximize our marks in the main. Now, what should be the strategy for mains? So, I believe that there are certain sections which remain neglected. However, these are certain areas where if you will put little efforts, the benefit is going to be more than what time you will be investing. So, I am talking about the two portions. First is essay, and the second is ethics. So, today we will be discussing about the nuances of the ethics paper and its approach. I am happy to introduce Mr. Sahil, who has a very good track record of guiding large number of students in ethics and who have scored very good, I'll not say just decent, very good marks. So we will discuss strategy and the approach. Now you have to understand that the importance of ethics paper go beyond the ethics paper, because this entire examination is the personality examination, and with lot of thinking this particular paper has been added. So if we are focusing on the interview, the personality test, obviously the paper does have a relevance. Normally you can say that how does these theories going to help a personality? Definitely knowledge is a source, because if we do not have a knowledge, how are we going to make any qualitative inputs in our personality? And I talked about another paper, that is an essay paper, and I believe that if you have a good command over your ethics paper, you can have spin-over effects even in your essay, especially as UPSC has also introduced the abstract essays with ethical tones. So, understand the importance. And above all, I believe that in ethics and in essay, if you will focus, it is much easier to score in the range of 150 marks than scoring in the other three papers. So it is time to have a strategic view about the ethics and discuss some of the strategies which can help an aspirant to maximize their marks with Sahil sir. So, over to you, Sahil. So, first of all, I would like that you tell the students about the importance of this paper, and if they are appearing for 22 and also for 23, is it the right time to start with ethics? And there is a general misconception that ethics should be done later, but what is your take on this?
Thank you, ma'am, for having me here. So, aspirants, I have seen this particular thing that many a times the students they have a kind of a confusion that how to handle this ethics GS paper number 4. I have met many of the aspirants. They are scoring really good in the three papers GS 1, 2, 3, but many a times they don't have that nick how to write the ethical answers. You need to understand this thing that when we are talking about ethics, first of all, you don't need to be too much philosophical. You don't need to use too much of the jargons, because what you need to show is a moral side of an administrator. So, into that capacity, equating the ethics with the everyday situations, equating ethics with multidimensionality, and showing your character is the thing which is required here. So, the plan that we have designed here is that we will be taking up the basic concepts of the ethics, how to explore that. We will be giving a lot of focus on equating the ethics with the contemporary issues. For example, recently we have seen this thing that COP26 had happened. We will be preparing the COP26 with respect to GS paper number 3, environment and ecology. But the COP26 holds a very special relevance with the environmental ethics. So what about that? Equating the things, seeing the law, the nuances of the law, that whether the law and ethics, how well they do go, or they don't go together. So all these things we are going to see, and this is the approach which I feel that you should also be having.
Yeah, this is, I think, a important thing that normally people feel that you should have a background of philosophy and then only you will be performing well. It is not like that. And the another thing is the important problem is how to integrate the current development. Sometimes suppose if you are writing any answer in ethics and these current, even if these current issues are not asked, but you can always present it as a case study. So Sahil, I want to know, like, what are the major challenges on the basis of your experience, what major challenges students feel while preparing this paper?
Basically, ma'am, what I feel the challenges are there. This paper is a kind of a different paper. All the papers they have read, for example, geography, history, they have read somewhere in the college, even the school, all these subjects they have read. But the ethics is a new paper. And the approach that they are taking in ethics is, in ethics also they are showing the knowledge. Now, knowledge is tested in GS 1, 2, 3. In GS 4, your character is tested. So
Okay.
rather than showing knowledge, you have to portray your character. That character along with the integrity has to be portrayed. So how to put that thing in a A4 sheet paper where a passive answering is being followed, that is a challenge. So the approach presentation is a big challenge that I feel should be worked upon.
And I have met many, even the toppers. They feel at times it is difficult to complete the paper in time. So, what can be the reason behind that?
Ma'am, I'll say that the lack of clarity is the reason.
Okay.
Very, if I say if your concepts are clear, it is not a big deal to complete the paper in time. The thing is that people, the aspirants, they are wandering here and there, writing unnecessary things, giving unnecessary kind of examples which are not at all needed. This is the reason that they are not able to cover the paper in the time. What we follow here in our classes is that we will be starting from tip to toe. Every word which has been mentioned in the UPSC's syllabus, it will be covered along with all the dimensionalities that will be there. Holistic yet precise completion will be focused, and that thing will be inculcated in you also. And to equate that thing, after the course, we are having 4 sectional tests. These will be the half length test in which we will be testing this thing also, that whether you have grasped all these things or not. So for that thing, the separate coverage will be having on.
So, as far as the ethics course here, even I want to add that you will not be requiring anything else. No book is required other than the classes and the notes which sir will be providing. And the second thing is this particular program will also include the test with the discussions that will help you as well as us to assess your level of understanding and to guide you further. So, as such, I don't think for general studies we really have time to go through the books for ethics,
Yes.
and they can rely on the classes. And again, like, can you just tell share your approach with respect to the case studies? I feel that becomes a cause of
Yes, ma'am.
anxiety for the students.
Yes, ma'am. So, with respect to the case study, one entire section, that is a section number B, is devoted to the case study. 50% of weightage is given to the case study. Now, with respect to case study, we have a separate section or a separate segment of the class. It has been allocated to the case study, in which we'll see that first of all, what the UPSC expects from an aspirant. Then, basic fodder material will be taking. We'll be learning some of the tricks that how the time should be managed. With respect to the case study, I think that you need to work separately on first of all the introduction, then on the body, and then finally on to the conclusion. Sometimes conclusions are needed, sometimes they are not needed. So identifying the case studies type and understanding that which are the templates that have to be used, I think it can help a lot. And in our classes, we had tried to analyze the papers that have been asked into the past, and we have tried to devise the templates that are there, and what type of templates which aspirants have used and they had got the good marks. We have analyzed that, and into that particular way, certain templates will be providing, some of the fodder material will be providing, the types of introduction, the types of conclusions, the types of body parts, all these things. I think if we work on some of pre-designated templates, you can sort out the content and in less time you can attempt the case studies.
Yeah, and I want to add that you have to understand that this examination is not just a knowledge examination. It is about how to maximize your scores. And for maximization of scores, it is not just you have a knowledge, you also need to have certain skills, and these classes are definitely going to upgrade your skills. So Sahil, actually in the last few days, I am also conducting some sessions focusing on this year's mains. So just towards the conclusion, would you like to give any advice to the students who are appearing mains, or any topics, any areas you want to tell to them?
Just one advice I would like to give. First of all, in the examination, please don't get panicked, because this is the thing that we have seen, that first of all, the panic, it creates a lot of pressure. There is nothing for which you need to feel panic. Second thing is that while you are answering, okay, particularly I'm talking about the ethics
Ethics
paper,
paper.
while you are answering, don't try to use too much of jargons. Don't try to show examiner that okay, how many philosophies you know, how many of the thinkers you can quote. No, that is not the thing. At the end of the day, the UPSC wants to see that what is your character. You want to show your morality, and into that particular thing, just I want to say that don't be in a hurry to use too much of the thinkers. Be specific, be precise, try to meet the demand of the question. Don't focus onto this thing that okay, see, many a times the aspirants, they have one particular kind of a pre-designated template, that first I will be attempting only the case study because that is the way which the toppers have suggested to you. I don't say that that particular template is the only thing that you have to focus. See what works for you. If you feel more comfortable first into the section A, focus on to that particular thing. There is no one pre-designated approach that has to be followed, that thing. After that, see, the another thing is that equating the ethics with the everyday situation happens to be very important thing. Try focus on to that, how many contemporary relevant examples you can give when you're talking about values. Don't just talk about the values. Give the examples of some of the officers into the past few days who have been there, who have followed these values. So equating it with the real world, I believe, had worked wonders for other aspirants, and you please also focus on this thing.
So thank you, Sahil, for your information, and for all the students who are willing to join our ethics course. We are going to launch ethics also in the modular form. You can look into the website for the details. And yes, we are organizing a very special workshop on the ethics on 27th December at our Pusa Road premise, where you will come to know in detail about the course features, about the content, about the teaching methodology of Sahil sir, and I expect that you will participate and enlighten yourself with this opportunity. Thank you.